Hey guys, welcome to an At the Movies. I have Ingrid and Eric here. Why? Because, well, you saw from the thumbnail, we're going over the RWBY Justice League movie. And I'm going to hold off on doing this until the thing properly releases. I am going to buy it myself, but I mean, I'd rather do that than do it a day early. But so you two are just as much RWBY fans as I am. I mean, Ingrid, everyone knows that from our RWBY Justice League crossover. But Eric, care to show off what you got with you?
I have Team Ruby right here with me, as a matter of fact.
And if they follow your Twitter, they would see those on there.
Right. I should really get a new thing. I joined in around volume 4 because number one, Montiel, may rest in peace. I was a fan of his animation. I love Dead Fantasy and all that. And number two, Rob had been begging me to get into Red versus Blue, so I'm like, okay, I'll break down. I'll watch.
And Death Battle helped.
Death Battle helped. Yeah, Death Battle had this little lady up against Tifa Lockhart for Final Fantasy VII. That's what introduced me to the world of Remnant, where everything is also a gun. Even
exactly. And those of you who remember Ingrid and I going over the crossover, probably the biggest time she's ever geeked out in any of our videos. So you and basically it's its own thing. There have been the two comic minis, the completed one where the League are part of Remnant, and we have the current one, DC RWBY, where the RWBY characters and the Grimm come to the DC universe and are changing it. This one's completely different. This one is, well, either of you want to describe what the movie's about?
Well, it hits the ground running, I'll tell you that. It starts off right in the middle, and they're like, no time to rest. We got to get the plot going immediately. But basically, DC heroes wake up in the world of Remnant. They have no idea how they got there. And Team RWBY is also confused because of the behavior of the Grimm and some of the things that
I was in the first minute. That's what impresses me.
Yeah, it just really did not waste any time getting to business.
No, they just have the action happen as the credits roll instead of just saying, okay, here's a black screen, here's all the white lettering, Star Trek the motion picture, or whatever.
I know, like I said, the fact was in the first minute, like right after the first Grimm goes down, RWBY goes, because it's glitching instead of disappearing. She's like, that's not right.
I know, and at first I'm thinking, virtual reality?
Well, you're not far off, but Clark is completely confused. Of course, you have, what are those things? Grimm. But yeah, then just dealing with all these other Grimm, and then the weird thing is, anytime they shoot at them, it's not doing much because, well, it's and they're absorbing the dust.
That's right. They absorb dust.
They're shooting lasers.
I know. Since when can they shoot laser beams?
I know. That was the weirdest thing. You're just like, wait, what?
I know. I never seen
it. To consider weird, that seems relatively mundane by comparison.
Yeah, but for them, it's weird. And
I know for them, it's like they've never seen a monster, let alone a Grimm. Grimm ship that thing have I-beams before. It's
well, actually,
at least none of the Grimm that we've seen so far.
It's not I-beams. Actually, it's actually from the mouth.
I get it. Oh, mouth beam. Right.
Yeah, because you saw that. You see it later on. One of them actually pulls it and goes.
Oh, that's right. It's kind of like the lightning coming out. Ingrid, you'll know this from playing Kingdom Hearts. When you get to the Ursula battle, she goes and just shoots lightning out of her mouth.
Oh, yeah.
A lightning particle blast underwater out of her mouth, and you're like, Sora, move it.
Yep. But yeah, but I also do like how it's right off the bat, Clark's mentioned about being from another world, and it's like, another world? The sun's different than Earth. Earth is where you're from, because you're from another world, which is a thing. Lindsay, I love Lindsay's acting in this. Lindsay, I adore all of them.
Lindsay was the first Lindsay was the best actor out of the initial ones that weren't already in Red versus Blue at the beginning.
I know, and
the others definitely grew into their roles, except for Michael. He was great as son right off the bat.
Oh, of course, this one. Call me Superman.
Yeah.
No. Do you have a regular name?
Like, Yang, don't do that to the best superhero on the planet.
But she doesn't know. As far as she knows, like, oh yeah, sure, Superman. Really? I mean, in their world, it makes sense.
You're
Really,
Superman.
is there anyone besides what's her name? The Grim Reaper.
The Grim Reaper.
What's her name? The old lady. Maria. Aside from Maria, they don't usually go by nicknames like that.
Right. My name is Maria Caviera, and I am not defenseless, but I have a serious need of repair. I can see what you mean now, dear.
Right. But if you know that, though, but even then, that's more built up over years. Whereas some kid shows up out of nowhere about Yang's age, says, "Call me Superman." Who's going to do that?
It's going to look like Super Saiyaman in Dragon Ball Z.
Exactly. But look, do you have a regular name?
Yeah, just call me Clark.
Yep. Again, no, Ruby throughout all this is just so sweet. Now, she's not crushing on him or anything like she did in the comic.
No, the blush was just like, oh, thanks. That was embarrassing.
Exactly. And then, and the fact that his powers aren't working quite right. As he said, she's much stronger.
Yeah, he's got Herculean. Yeah, under the when he's on Earth, either takes sun or not, he's got Herculean strength. Give him enough sun power, that way he can defeat a god.
But I do also like that the sun. It's not just because he has a semblance of its power, but also because the sun is different because it's a different world.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, originally, because I remember reading about this in the Golden Age, he was basically John Carter from Mars. The gravity of Earth was different than the gravity on Krypton. But over time, the sun also became an energy source, and it said the red sun makes him normal, and the blue sun makes him even more powerful, if that's possible.
Right. But and now we get the first of 4 bringing back of old characters. Kali.
I know, Mama Belladonna. Everybody loves Mama Belladonna.
Yep, I love this, but then of course we get some of the weird hiccups with the timeline when they mention about Shania Khan's deaths. It's like, wait, what?
Yeah, Shania Khan.
I know, and then of course so much of the stuff is happening, and Diana kicks butt.
Diana looks people have said Diana looks a little weird.
A little, but
I don't know.
Not massively.
She looks like Wonder Girl more than anything else.
But she's a teenager. She is Wonder
Girl.
That.
Well, that's obvious. Well, duh. That's kind of a given.
I know, and I love that when she was like, "I am Diana."
Are you
princess.
Faunus, somebody with a tail or wings.
Oh,
where did you
Aaron's acting's also improved since the beginning.
As soon as when Aaron and Weiss had that argument at the end of Volume 1, I feel Aaron and Kara Ebely, their acting went up like this.
But I'm saying
they were finally up to par again.
Yeah, but it feels like lately though, when Aaron acts, it doesn't sound. It's definitely way different than how she was in the first couple of volumes. It feels more natural. Not that it wasn't natural before, but it feels more natural.
Well, no, lately. I think it almost like it reflects what Blake is going through. Trying to be in Volume 1, I'm trying to fit in. I finally got some friends. The other volumes, my partner's back in my life. This is bad. This is very bad. I'm running away. I'm running away. But then sees all the trouble White Fang's doing. She's like, I am sick of it. I'm going to sort this mess out. I'm going to bring the old White Fang back. The best way I know how. I'm going to finally confront it with my parents' son and half of Menagerie on my side. I'm I pay to see this. Yeah, on pay-per-view. You have my money, madam.
Right. You agree with that, Ingrid?
I say you've got something there.
And of course, once she and Yang defeat Adam, she's like, I can finally loosen up and have fun. Dang it, I'm a dork. Remember, I'm a dork.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's what I'm doing.
That's what I'm doing.
I love when that's one of my favorite Blake deliveries. But Diana here, I get it. Just the fact that even when she says, "I see visions, I'm adult, but I feel like I'm a teenager," that doesn't make sense. Yeah, no kidding. But and then we have Weiss, and then there's the other one, Jacques. Haven't seen him in a while.
No, I thought this. Hello, father.
but much like Carlito, he feels a little off, but that's intentional, of course.
I know, father. No, I can't take the CCT. I'm not the one responsible to rebuilding it.
Yep. But then there's Bruce, and I like how Bruce's introduction. First, about how Nero fiddled while Rome burned. Huh?
I'm Batman.
Yeah. Now, what did you stand on Bruce's voice? Now, I'll say Diana and Clark, perfect. Bruce, I know he's supposed to be a teenager, and we don't usually see much of Bruce as a teenager. And I feel like he's the one who got the most affected by being turned into a teenager.
I can agree with that.
I would definitely agree with that, and it makes perfect sense because he's the one who has the most reason to have teenage angst out of literally anyone else in this cast.
Especially since most of the time his teenage years was just spent training. He didn't even focus on being a teenager and probably ignored his hormones because he was probably not around with girls or anything. He was just off training.
Yeah, most of his his second childhood, aka Bruce Wayne the Playboy, is when he finally had fun with that.
Exactly.
Yeah, but that most of his teen years, he's just like, I got to work out. I finally got my fortune. I'm going to travel around the world, learn escape artistry, learn everything I can about martial arts, take arts, learn technology, so I can take control back from Wayne Tech and use it to help me and help Gotham.
By the way, I want to point out, okay, there's Weiss in her Volume 4 outfit, and we've been seeing her in her Volume 1 through 3 outfit. I think this confirms my theory. It was her outfit that made her look flat-chested. I think this confirms it, does it? Because, still in Maya, but are you noticing? She still looks as slim, even though we know she's not much bigger than that.
I know. In Volume 4, a lot of people said, whoa, she went from petite to filling out.
but again, Ingrid, you're the girl here. Do you think that's probably what it is with the outfit?
It can, what you're wearing can definitely change how that looks dramatically, especially if something hugs closer to your body versus being a bit more loose.
Exactly. Yeah. But of course, then, now, the fact that she so casually mentioned, like, where would you go? Oh, a dust lab. I'm like, a dust lab? That's some of the iffiness of the writing where I'm like, would Weiss really say that? She would go up to a dust lab to be alone?
It depends. Given how she would know about the dust labs because she was previously the heiress to the company. But to do it to be alone, maybe it would be a little bit more. She would feel more home than that, and even her bedroom, unless Klein was around. I don't know.
Yeah, but that did feel a little. Again, it's shaky. It's not bad, just shaky. But it felt like it was that bit of writing that was needed to help move the plot along. But again, not the worst I've seen of that. And then, of course, she feels like, well, you still stole this stuff, and leads to another.
And of course, Batman got a fight, which I'm happy for.
Yep. And I really liked how this whole sequence was choreographed.
Especially love the piano player.
Yeah,
that was
great. But somebody's pointed out it's fun to see Weiss fight like a ballerina again.
Yeah. Yep, it is. But I also love how you see the piano player. He has 1 foot away, like, I'm gonna book it if they head for the piano.
I know, he's like it's like Daffy and Donald if they realize, we're in Roger Rabbit. We're losing the crowd.
Oh, that look.
I know.
If you notice that, people love that look on Jacques.
I love that. I know. I love whenever somebody has that Yosemite Sam mustache and it just droops down. They're like,
I know. But he's down like, how does Clark fly and to do this?
There's years of practice, man. And I don't have wings. I'm levitating somehow.
Yep. I also love how because of his semblance, we get the whole notion of technically, they weren't in Patch. We know they weren't in Patch. They were in the forest of Beacon. But the fact they were so able to get there quickly, that tells you right then and there, like, wait, we know the gap should not be that quick.
I know, something screwy there. They would have to go all the way back to the cliff. If they were in the Emerald Forest, for example, they'd have to go all the way back, climb the cliff, and then get back to Beacon Cliff, and then get back to Beacon, and then back up the locker room.
I love that look on Yang. She's just like, seriously, why aren't you tired?
Tired.
Just like, come on, this ain't fair.
Yep.
The more sunlight he gets, the higher he gets. He really is a hippie.
Yep. And, they meet up, and of course, everyone's like, they hugged, and she ran the hug, but it's like, so did Ruby and Blake.
Yang just did it, like, faster.
Right.
Faster. Blake!
But then, of course, with Wonder Woman,
yes.
Superman, it's like, notice they only poke fun at Superman, Batman. They never poke fun at Wonder Woman's name.
I guess, well, we know why with Yang. Wow, she's super strong.
Oh, yeah. What? Nothing. It's just an observation.
I know, just an observation. I'm like, dork.
Then we actually got to see Shannon McCormick back as Osborn. Haven't seen him and doing that in a while.
Heard from him doing it in a while, technically, but yes.
And
I'm Professor Osborn.
And yet having Oscar too, although Shannon clearly had more lines in this movie than
Aaron Desmond.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think they allow kids in here, Pipsqueak.
Yep, I like how they keep switching. You know, they keep switching because it's glitching.
I know,
yeah.
Up there it is.
She's super strong. And just an observation.
Just an observation.
What'd you say about Yankees ever met an Amazon?
Nope. If she saw Amazon Island, much like if she would see the Super Saiyan, she'd be like, "There's more of me."
True. Or
that is a quote from Barbara Dunkelman out of Convention.
Yep. But yeah, and again, he keeps acting off like you five should come back to this the classes. It's like, so much for him having the answers.
Yep.
And there's the ring. The ring.
Green Lantern ring, and dear Jessica, how do I love thee? Let me count the ways.
Yep. And we're introduced to Jessica Cruz, and if you notice, she's not a teenager. She's clearly much younger than that.
Yeah, she's like, I don't know, 11 or something. It seems like
that's what it feels like. Or at the very least, if she is a teen, she's right at 13.
Yeah, she's like right around Oscar's age.
Yeah. Or
Ruby at the
she's
start. Like, I don't have the ring. What do I do? I'm confused.
Yep. And looking back now after watching the whole movie, I actually like how they Glinda, the last
I got a bed. I'm half the teacher.
I gotta ask you, Ingrid, what did you think of Glinda's new voice?
I guess it's been so long since I heard the original voice that I didn't really think that much of it.
I mean, I thought she did a good job. It's a different take. It's definitely different, but it still suits the character.
I can hear the hints of it, but when she goes deep down, she's more like
more husky,
or husky. Yeah, a bit more husky, but it's not out of that. But she's not out of character for Glinda.
But I like it how this whole segment actually has some little clues on it. We have Vixen pointing out about a note that Flash Pass smells different. And Flash seems to know more than he should, but he's like, "What? You weren't paying attention?"
Well, I mean, technically, isn't Barry the one who can read like the entire Library of Congress and keep it memorized? Wait. He could, but he can't keep it memorized. No.
Exactly.
I'm thinking of Bart. I'm thinking of Impulse.
Well, technically, all of the Flashes can do that.
But can they retain the memory?
No. Bart's the only one who can retain it. Now, I like Vixen.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just thinking that too. Okay, I got to rebuild this building, go to the library, read all this architecture book, and then do the brick and mortar. That's all I'm thinking about. That's what I'm thinking about.
Yep, but Vixen, what did you think Vixen here and opposed to Aquaman?
Aquaman was in the original comic.
I'm asking Ingrid, what did you think?
I thought it fit their particular take on what's supposed to be happening here a bit better, because I feel like if they had gone with Aquaman, they'd have tried to shoehorn in a lot of different stuff that just would have killed the pacing. So I think the character switch was warranted here.
That, and I think he might have butted in about leadership a bit, like, and everything. It's like, no, let's keep that to Clark. We don't need someone else who's known for being the leader. We already have Diana too for that.
If there's one thing you could count on with Aquaman, it's like I'm the king. At least post Crisis, when he was being more like Namor the Submariner. It's that's about my command. I'm the king of Atlantis.
Exactly, but I liked Barry in this, even though. We'll get to the twist later, but
Barry was great. No, Barry was great. He's just like, I'm a kid again. I can run fast. Slow poke.
And
Nora,
the love triangle. Even though
it's rare to see Ren get super jelly. Am I right?
It is. I mean, okay, Ingrid, how would you feel about this triangle? Even though, let's be honest, I think Cyborg was just being more a friend to Nora. I don't think he cared anything romantically for her.
No.
Sometimes it doesn't when we're talking about the general trope and structure of the love triangle, it doesn't matter what any of the actual individuals might actually be feeling, only if the perception that is there.
True, but what did you think of it?
I know this is kind of becoming a bit of a refrain for me, but I didn't think much of it either way. I didn't think it was especially notable, but I also don't think it dragged it down.
I just think it's fun having Nora. Yeah, Nora's my second favorite of the main 7 besides Yang. Just because she's so crazy and Pinkie Pie.
I think Fitzmartin, she loved her. I think Megan Fitzmartin loved Nora because of how much awesome moments she gets in this.
I agree to that.
She is technically one of the most powerful members of the team if you give her enough lightning.
You give her enough lightning, and of course that big freaking grenade launcher of a warhammer.
Yeah. But I love also like, what? You never had to deal with childhood trauma before? I'm like, dude.
Have you seen Volume 4, my friend? Have you seen Chapter 10? Holy smokes.
Yep, and we get a bit of the action. There's been clips of this going on. Yep. What? You mean my semblance or my dust? I'm still trying to figure that out. Oh, and poor Jessica. Like I said, the voice for Cyborg it's not, what's his name? Kyrie Payton, but he's still pretty close enough. And he's also the voice of the villain, I found out.
Yeah, this is not going well. Fox. I'm sorry to bring this up, but I saw a tweet earlier about 3 different voice actors for Tails being at the same convention from South Africa.
Yep.
So I'm like, so that came into my mind as soon as I saw Vixen's tail.
Yep. Again, I just love, like I said, the fact that right off the bat, everyone knows something's wrong. That's one thing I just love about this movie is that they waste no time.
You ever get the feeling something might be off?
Yep. Again, I mean, Ingrid, aren't you kind of glad with that? That they wasted no time. They just dove right into saying, something's wrong here.
I know, something wrong here.
It's like...
Now, how many movies waste time? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just like, oftentimes it's like, yeah, have fun with the crossover premise, but don't necessarily drag your feet on it. It's very easy to kind of just get lost in...
Yeah.
Sort of like the spectacle of, ooh, here's this novel thing, and then just take too long getting into the actual substance. Like, yeah, I get it. You're putting these 2 things together, but how are you actually going to make that better than just the hype or the sum of its parts?
I know. I always think back to when versions of the Ninja Turtles with me. I feel those are paced pretty well.
Yep. And I'll say this: did you notice? It's only in the Atlas part, that party, that we have the most amount of people that clearly the villain was generating in one scene. Nowhere else, we only have about 2, maybe 3. Other than that, it's mostly Grimm.
I know I know others. It's like, where is everybody? Where are the other students? Where are the exchange people? We got a Vital Festival tournament coming up.
Yep. Oh, and this bit, the bit there where Jean is all about, I'm like, wait, how is that right? How old is he? And normal years or possessed by an evil spirit years? What's that, like dog years? I'm like, okay, I think
dog years.
Dialogue like that, I think, is meant for those who are coming in this for Justice League to be able to understand things when they go into RWBY, even though it's irrelevant for this movie.
Right.
That's what it feels like.
Does that have like dog ears or something? By the way, where's Weiss?
Yep, where's Weiss? And of course, Vixen. I hated being a teenager the first time around. Yep.
Hugs. Big hugs.
Oh, yeah,
Big hug.
Yep, and again, Jessica, you just feel so bad for her.
She's got that green going around her eye. I don't know. Is that like eyeliner or a scar or something?
No, but that was something similar she had in the comic version.
Gotcha.
Oh, yeah. I'd like to see you try. Nope. No killing.
Nobody has to kill anyone. That Miles has also come a long way in his that thing. I'm tired of being the lovable idiot.
Yep. But again, just so much. But yeah, where's Batman? I
pointed this out to you. He had his Tony Stark moment. Like you remember in Iron Man 1, 10%,
Yeah, that's what this was. It felt like too much.
That got a big. When I saw Iron Man in theaters, that got one of the biggest laughs.
Yep. Now, Ingrid, you love the Bruce Weiss dynamic in this movie.
Yes, that was one of my favorite parts of all of this. I might be kind of biased since we're going with my personal favorite of the RWBY crew with.
Oh, and I love Weiss. Weiss is my favorite, become my favorite of the crew, but at the same time, she's very close with RWBY, I should point out, as far as my favorite.
Yeah,
which is perfectly fair.
Yeah, Weiss would be like my third favorite after.
I mean, hell, I literally just bought a good print of Weiss over a con-going weekend that's up on my wall over there.
Yep. But I do remember that was one of the things you loved about the comic was when these two first met. You're like, these two high society individuals who, being the ones that meet and interact with each other.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and there goes trouble. Oh, trouble.
Trouble. You got trouble, my friend. You got trouble.
He wants attention. He's like, I want to be in the spotlight.
Yeah, Weiss is probably my third favorite after Yang and Nora. These two were the MVPs for Volume 5, in my opinion.
Yes.
And their friendship. I missed you so much. I missed you.
Yeah,
there he goes.
Yep, there he goes. But yeah, throughout all of this, I do like that she's willing to help because obviously she knows something's up. But did they portray her a bit smarter than usual here?
She was the smartest with Blake of the team.
No, I agree.
With Blake usually being the second smartest.
Yeah, but feels like the fact I need a means to understand the makeup of your world. It's like, wait, what?
If
how can their scans pick up what makes up their world unless they already know this is not the real world, but they think it's the real world? So that. Again,
once again, another clue. No, I think the hiccups of dialogue might be more clues that there's something wrong with the system.
That could be true. Like they know it, but they're not realizing it.
I know, but we know it. We know, but we don't know.
Yeah.
The only thing it's like an old saying I remember heard. The only thing for sure is that nothing's for sure.
Yep. Oh, I always love when you could see the Pumpkin Pete. Bottom of it.
It's Pumpkin Pete, from the cereal. What can you do? Take from Santa in the box up for a price? Yeah, 50.
That's one of my favorite RWBY moments. It's her cracking up at his.
Sorry for the close-up, folks. Bad RWBY. I know, bad RWBY. Ow.
Ow. But yeah, again, just so much of the interactions here I just love. Like, now is that better or worse than Superman? I know, right? Focus.
Focus.
Oh yeah, I wasn't crying.
You totally were.
But again, just throughout all of this is where we start to get the moment of RWBY, letting her leadership get bombarded, having more people involved and everything. Oh, there's Clark's hammer that he gets.
Yeah, it's Thor, god of the Krypton, I guess.
And yet it never shoots anything.
No, it doesn't. It's just like, we don't have anything that turns into a gun. We're just going to use melee weapons here.
Yep.
With the exception of Cyborg's flying mechanism drone.
Yep. Oh.
Pyrrha.
Once he's looking at Jessica, he's remembering how Pyrrha. Well, he hears Pyrrha's voice. I like that little, huh?
Just wait until later, and I'm like, I can see everybody's going to be heartbroken.
Yep, but yeah, then of course the whole, why are you two taking over? And I just love how Vixen's like, they do that. I'm like, yeah, they kind of one of them. Superman and Wonder Woman were some of the ones who would start to take charge, even if they're in another world.
And then Blake Canary come in with the chair and be like, excuse me, I am the chairperson.
Well, that was in the comics, yeah, but again, just the fact that they're arguing, trying to figure things out.
Sorry, the way you're making this seem like photo animation, just like Nora.
I know. But yeah, then Clark, obviously, he gets back in, gets everyone to listen. And she's like, I was going to say that. Again, I love this dynamic between RWBY and Clark. I can't say mentor and all that. It's more
but I get what you're saying. If anybody's going to listen to anybody, or get everybody together, it's going to be Supes, because he's like, okay, enough fighting. We got to focus on the enemy, and we got to look for the best in everything. Keep focus here. Keep hope.
But at the same time, it doesn't downplay RWBY's leadership. It's just the fact that she needs to.
It's a conflict, but it's a conflict of balance here.
Exactly. Is that the right way of putting it, Ingrid? It's the conflicts of balance?
Yeah, it's just like who's doing what, who's delegating what in this particular crazy scenario they've gotten thrown into, where they need both of their skill sets in order to succeed.
Yeah, who's doing what around here? Yeah, left hand, like this. I don't know what you're doing. They're like, yeah, I know. Get it? Left hand, right hand. Doesn't know what the right hand's doing.
But yeah, but again, like I said, I just like that. It's more of a case of Ruby has to realize that she needs to pick up the pace a little bit. It's the problem. It's not that she's wrong. It's that she freezes up, which we know Ruby's known for doing.
Yes, she
does. You're in the
It's
headlights, all too sympathetic.
It's weird seeing me in this old outfit, but my arm is like robotic.
Oh yeah, yeah, exactly. And then of course they decide to split up. Jean is staying with Jessica. Oh, and I'll follow you into certain danger. I have to wonder, you see Vixen is having that's a bit of her teenager side crushing on him a little?
Maybe.
I mean, they don't go anywhere beyond that moment.
Oh no, they don't go anywhere beyond that. But let's face it, Superman. When you call yourself Superman and you got the looks and you got the personality you do, you're going to be a chick magnet for a lot more than just Lois Lane. I can tell you.
Right, but yeah, basically, the bulk of them decided to go hunting for the Grimm. Try to figure out why they're able to absorb dust and everything. Jean is staying with Jessica to go get a ring, and then you have Blake, Diana, and Yang going to the Atlas to get Weiss and Bruce. And of course, Yang's like, "I'll go with Diana. I'll go too." It's like,
I'll go too.
Is that jealousy or is that her wanting to be with Wonder Woman too?
Gotta be both. No, wait, I gotta do the El Dorado. Both. Both
is good.
I know.
I have to point out, so actually I was wrong. Batman's outfit is also the same one from the comics, but they're the only two that kept it consistent. Everyone else is a redesign, which, given how Diana was an automaton in the comic, makes sense.
I gotta say, it works for Bruce.
It does. But again, I just like it. And she's like, "So you're from the place you're from is called Gotham." I do think they put a little emphasis on I didn't have powers there, but again, I think that ties to his teenager side because, as I told Ingrid,
you actually talked to me about that, and I'm like, it could be because, like the enemy said, it's his hormone. It's his hormones and his immaturity kicking in.
Exactly.
He's a little bit more. How can I keep up with Clark if I don't have all my gadgets in my vehicles?
Exactly, and I told Ingrid this as well. I think it was more of the case. I'm trying to get my right train of thought again. Hold on. Well, we all three of us agree he's definitely getting hit the hardest by being a teenager.
Yeah, he's like the one in the cast that if anyone is going to be suffering from the heaviest dosage of teenage angst, it has got to be him.
Yeah, exactly. And his jealousy of, again, like, I have powers. It's just he's not thinking straight. But at the same time, I can see why this is probably the one spot people will complain about saying, who wrote this?
I know, because it's not the Brit Batman we know that's, experienced and confident.
Exactly.
It's almost kind of like some of the complaints we got around the Batman movie, except it's even earlier on in the timeline than that.
Exactly.
That's very true. Like, I'm just
like
now reading.
It's just like there's one thing to sort of understand, sort of like, I don't know the word for it, the general like brand of what you come to expect from the character without sort of realizing
expectations
of the character without realizing what the context for the character being that way is.
I know, we're so used to either because it's kind of like you get to see Batman usually on television. He's already there, except for Gotham, which is a prequel setting up everything.
And focus more on Gordon.
The movies are all over the place. One is an extended episode of the Adam West Show. One Tim Burton decided to have him already be Batman, but people are, but he's still kind of new to the game, and Gotham's like, is he real? Is he not? Is he real? Is he not? And then the Joker comes along, and then and then he's still experienced, but takes Robin under in the Schumacher movies. Then the Nolan trilogy starts all over again, and we see his progression through that.
I think there's that.
So
but,
and then there's the other cartoons like the Batman or Brave and the Bold, which also kind of deals with the Batman being a newcomer, Brave and the Bold.
Exactly.
I'm trying to be. I need to work together with all the other heroes. I'll be a mentor to the new Blue Beetle. I'm trying to figure out what the heck to do with Plastic Man.
I think though the other issue though is that he is the most different out of everyone. Everyone else, you still feel like they're mostly themselves from their comic self. I do think that's a little bit of bad writing. There should have been a bit more emphasis besides him. And again, Jessica, you can chalk up more for freaking out because she doesn't have a ring. But it feels like out of all, but most of the other ones just feel more like, I feel like I should be a teenager, but they're still acting more like adults. So he's the standout. And I think that's why it probably is more up for criticism because of that. I mean, the three of us get it.
Yeah, it's just that unfortunately, I feel like the best metaphor I could use for this is that, you know, all of like those advanced math equations where it's just like, oh, you plug in X, you get a certain plug in X as any sort of variable, you get a certain answer out of that. It's just we're usually putting in the same X with Batman for like so long that when you put a different variable into the equation, it's still the same equation. It's just giving a different result because you have a different input. And it's like, unfortunately,
you hit the nail.
Narrative math.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. I've seen that the fans, especially the Bat stands, are so used to this certain idea of Batman that if you go just a little slightly off, you get the fan base up in arms. You get a polarizing fan base up in arms because you're like, oh, he's too dark. Oh, now he's too light. Batman doesn't eat nachos.
Yeah, now, are they wrong to
sidekicks are getting too much emphasis.
But are they wrong to criticize this? I say, to an extent, they are not wrong. Because again, when you have the writing have it be he's the only one who's that drastically different, you're kind of leaving yourself open for the criticism then.
It is important to remember that at least post-crisis, and this is something we've analyzed with a lot of people have analyzed with Batman. He's still he may not be as he's saner than his enemies, but he's still not quite right in the head.
Right.
He enough to still fully function in society and talk to people, but he's got that. I often compare him to how Reed Richards is portrayed in the Fantastic Four comics. Like both of them need people, but they so want to be alone and say, "I'm right. I can do it. I know I'm right." Alfred, what if I'm wrong?
Right.
He's just.
See, I'm laughing because that description of character conflict is way too intensely relatable for me.
Oh, well, because he's pretty. So basically, he's kind of out of his element. I feel like Remnant is
mixed in being a teenager.
Him being a teenager, in addition to this bizarro environment, at least to him, is what's affecting his emotional state.
I just realized something. This is a reversal of that Justice League episode where they were all DH. Everyone else fell to their emotions and hormones and being a kid.
They were pretty much
Batman.
They were all acting like a bunch of pipsqueak kindergartners.
Again, except Batman. So this is the reversal of that.
Yeah.
By the way, this sequence. This is the most you've talked since I've met you.
I love whenever Red's lack of talking comes to the forefront and they make a joke about it. Dude, you're actually speaking.
Exactly. But Nora.
Ren could get pretty philosophical when he it's like that. I wish I had my Juniper figurines. I have hard nylon figurines. They're downstairs. I got them from Hot Topic, but
now Nora, I also don't blame her for getting annoyed that they almost feel like they're speaking for her. It's like, okay, Ren, you should know better. I hardly even know you, so please.
I know, it's like when the teenagers are tired talking. She is also in the room and can be directly spoken to.
Oh, and I'm sorry. Pip, calling her Pipsqueak and all that. I'm just like,
coming up the truck and call me back. What the heck?
I know. I'm sorry. Now, granted, Superman called him out and he felt bad immediately after saying it, but I still felt like...
I'm glad for that. If they didn't have that, I would have been ripping what's left of my hair out on the top. My hair's always more thick here. Never mind. I'm not here to talk about hair care and products.
Right. But then, of course, it's hard being a leader. Even when you're a grown-up, I'm sorry, I just can't take you seriously when you look like you're Yang's age.
Yeah, well,
Again, like I've said before about Lindsay's acting as Ruby, it's come a long way. It felt a little awkward for the first bit, and then I'm sorry, I can never stand her being the squeaky voice the majority of the time. I mean,
I can
Ingrid, where'd you
understand
stand on that?
I can understand in Chibi. I can
In
understand in
Chibi,
Chibi,
yes.
Obviously, but here it's like you guys
No,
making
I'm
her
saying throughout the main series when she
in the main series. You're like, are we trying to make her too much of a kid?
would you agree with that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe
that was
it's
annoying. Now they keep it to a balance now where she is still more mature, more matching of her age, but she'll slip into the squeakiness like during Arrowfell. Most of your normal boys, but when a giant mech, she's like, ah, not another giant mech thing.
Yeah, it's like slowly but surely after volume 3, she's like that because 2 and 3, I'm having the time of my life. Slowly but surely, it's like I'm trying, got to keep a brave face, and we could see like Sailor Moon, her face is cracking, like her
Until volume
emotional
9.
Yeah, and now in volume 9, Lindsay finally got her wish for Ruby to finally break.
Exactly. But I think also for her, probably became a pain in the neck to constantly do the hi squeaky boys all the time. And also
Yeah, I can imagine that would be murder on some throats.
I love that. Yeah, I love that she does it to her daughters, and that they make her them giggle.
Yep. But I will just say this though. I think the other problem is when you had to do a squeaky voice, something didn't feel like she was taking things seriously, even though the writing is showing she's taking it seriously. When she did in the squeaky voice, I just couldn't help but feel like, okay, this is clashing with the dialogue.
Yeah, it kind of gets back to if I can use Kingdom Hearts as another example. Sometimes when that it depends on what era of story you're talking about, but if Haley Joel Osment wasn't as such a good actor as he was, especially at a young age, there's a lot of lines where I'm what what kind of face Donald Goofy, wait a minute, like when he's down here, up here, and then when he's down here, yeah, you're like Zemnis. There's a lot more to light and darkness and all these other emotions, don't you remember? And then in Dream Top, he's like, "Hey, what happened to Riku?" It's like schizophrenic much?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But yeah,
and then in Kingdom Hearts 3, they put him back in the balance. Hey, we're in Olympus. What happened to the fanfare?
yep. Oh, and now the Jessica Jean stuff as we finally learn about
Jessica,
the world.
I wanted to reach into the screen and hug her. I wanted to hug her. Poor girl.
Yeah, I know. I wanted to hug her too, and that's what I love about this.
Hugs for Jessica.
Yep, and I'll say this. I love about this. It's not her agoraphobia, but I think it is tied into her agoraphobia. She's been so used to the ring that even though she probably felt she was over it, losing the ring is making her relapse hard.
Yeah, that's very relatable since, sometimes, like when you have a comfort object, especially if it's something that's a literal magical artifact that's part of your identity, you lose that and suddenly you go into a panic. Hell, I do that, something like that, whenever I misplace my phone or my Raycons just before finding it. And the ring's a lot more of a serious deal. This is completely understandable.
Yeah, it's kind of a class. I'm noticing even in recent years, it's one of those classic superhero, hero or warrior kind of things. Like getting back to Kingdom Hearts, how am I supposed to fight if I don't have the keyblade? Or like Ben 10, well, what am I going to do if I can't use the Omnitrix? I got to think else.
It's the whole
that side, and it's the whole thing of saying you can still be here. You can still be hero even if you can't go hero.
Exactly. But here we find out the truth. It's a virtual reality simulator they've been in.
In the white room. I got to do this. In the white room with black curtains at the station.
Yeah, now, I will say this, though. The thing about with Jessica and Vixen is it's a case where without their items, their semblance can mimic their abilities and until they get the real deals, because that's what it seems to imply.
It seems to imply that the necklace and the ring, that it's like you have your semblance, but your jewelry is your enhancer.
Perhaps, but I look at it more like they could do it without tapping into the semblance once they have their items.
Possibly. That's possibly it too. Okay,
Yep.
so we got two different interpretations of the same thing. Isn't democracy wonderful when it comes to talking about characters and not arguing?
But I love how Sean's like, whoa, what happened to everything?
It's just like, wait a second, what happened? Yeah.
Oh, but I also love that moment earlier when he's like, okay, he's kneeling on the floor. That's cool. But he's like, I think you've got this. If it doesn't work, it's fine. You said you believe in me. I know. But you're putting a lot of pressure on yourself. It's like, again, he's taking from experience.
Speaking road sense, like it's just
that's why I love this. That's why I love this. There's nowhere else you could put this for Jean in the show because everyone else is experienced. Having a moment like this is giving him the chance to do some writing that again you can't do in the show currently.
No, because his whole arc is saying, I'm the only one who's normal, and I'm the only one whose parallel is not a fairy tale or mythology. I'm based off of a real historical figure with Joan of we just had to freeze frame it, and now I'm thinking back to that Camp Parody. We got our tree.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, seeing this again, I'm like, oh crap!
That thing crackling and dunking and choking out Lionheart. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
And this is why I hate underwater animals. I hate jellyfish. I hate eels. I hate large sharks. I hate any slippery squids. Yuck.
Yep. Oh, I loved a little bit when they're talking and she's like, "Wait, who's flying the plane?" Autopilot.
Oh,
I just love little moments. I just love little moments.
I know. Hey, I never got my pilot's license. What else was I gonna do?
I know, but the fact that her abilities are lasso for strength, bracelet for flight.
Right.
I do like that she has to mix it up a bit. But then you have that whole.
At least she still has her lasso.
Yep. Also, I love this talk with them and how this whole she basically it's this whole notion of she learned all the heroes learned it without having to go to school where you risk dying just by learning.
And every superhero school ever. You're a wizard, Harry, and you're going to. And now it's time to. No, wait, you're a wizard, Harry, and now it's time to die.
Actually, to be fair, in the case of Harry Potter and other cases like that, those are cases where by the time the story happens, if you look at everything beforehand, in theory, they're supposed to be perfectly safe and learn without any risk of death.
No. Unless you're a get X-Men, in which case the school gets crumbled every other week by the brethren. Let's just log to the boy Wolverine saying, why don't we just make it out of Lego next time?
Yeah. Now, where do you stand this whole notion of this whole we're warriors bit? I felt this was a little, I liked it, but it rang a little flat compared to the other plot points a little.
I say it fixed the parallel with Blake, given how she grew up outside the kingdoms. As far as Diana, this is the post-crisis mentality where she's, or post-New 52 mentality where she's less. I love everyone.
I'm an ambassador.
I'm the paragon of love and justice, and focus more on the warrior because she's got the sword.
Definitely. Definitely. But I also, when Batman brings it up too, I'm like, okay, that's where I'm like,
I think it's a follow-up to the earlier conversation, but I can see why some would be like, huh?
Yeah, that felt a little.
Again, it goes back to what we discussed earlier with how we have a certain thing. We've been seeing one
deja vu.
I know it's a Queen Lancer. What?
Exactly, but
wait! I should have made this joke earlier on the phone call. Oh, we got the bees attacking the bees.
I love this action sequence, don't you? I mean, this is some of the best action in the whole series. Would you both agree?
Yes, definitely.
Where was this in Volume 5? I'm not getting into that again.
Okay. Spoiler ahead of time. This is set around the early point of Volume 7. So when they get a little heavier with the chip teasing, it feels like, well, wait, they're not supposed to acknowledge their feelings until Volume 9. So
let's just say during those few months, they got very close again.
I know, but I think. Oh, by the way, Ingrid, it made me realize in the comic. Remember there was that one bit where Blake is asking Yang, and she's in her pajamas asking, what does one do the day before the fighting for the world? And Yang just gives a smile, and you and I were both like, oh. I think that was meant to be another clue that this Bumblebee was meant to be the end goal.
Oh, boy.
What do you think?
What do you think?
I just do not have the energy to spend on internet ship wars anymore. That's my
Fair enough.
opinion.
Like, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. Once again, I saw the toxic shippers where.
Oh, geez, yeah, those who were saying, "Oh, Yang is full les." It's like, and that one little bit in episode 3 was just a throwaway joke. Like, really? Yang is never shown.
You really can't put your Barbie dolls together in peace, can you?
No,
I think my theory is they're upset because they realize you can't say Blake is full les. You can't. Literally,
no, Aaron actually said to somebody that like her in real life, Blake is full bi. That would explain the relationship with Sun. And all the ship teases with that. And I heard, but there is the one true threesome that people ship, that Blake, Sun, and
I love that. I think that would work.
It's called Sunny Bees, which I think is
that would work.
But listen, on the whole,
Neptune would be jealous. Neptune would so be jealous.
Oh yeah, I got no problem with Yang, being a queer character. It doesn't dominate her character. She's still the Yang we know and love. And forgive me if I've talked to bi friends and friends or friends that are also RWBY friends, and I got a little bit defensive on that Twitter thread. But to be fair, that being said, though. Somebody, a YouTuber who reacted to the videos, who later would work on this volume, Puns of Damage, said her headcanon is she's pansexual. And Rob, you talked about this with Charizard, a friend of ours. He believes she's pansexual.
Oh yeah, a lot of people do believe, and I'm like, I think that's the better way. And I just think there's some people who just want to say, "Oh, she's full les," because unlike Blake. She's the one that's the one you could make the argument because there was just that one bit early on and then nothing else.
Yeah, so everybody's basically saying, and then there's the ones that finally are trying to quell the argument, saying bi, pan, or full les, they're all headcanons.
It's Schrodinger's cat.
They're full. Wait, what?
It's Schrodinger's cat. They all exist until you open the box and find out what's in there.
I guess because right now
the Schrodinger's cat, the whole notion of you have a thing of poison, you have a cat in a box, the box is closed. In that moment, till you open it up, it exists in two universes. One where the cat is dead because the poison broke, one where the cat is alive because it hasn't broke. And it won't become a reality until you open that box. So Yang, her sexuality is Schrodinger like that. You won't know until you open the box.
I said this in volume 6. Take whatever headcanon I have, I'm leaving it in there until Miles, Carey, or somebody else that works on the show says otherwise.
Exactly. We know they're together. That much is certain. Whether or not, if Yang only swings one way or multiple ways, we won't know that.
Yang seems like the kind of girl who probably would be. My concern is that for people to think full on les, I don't want her to become a butch stereotype. That's all I'll say. Because, she is the most tomboyish of the group. And, look at how strong she is. She's our queen. Queen, they're all princesses. Deal with it.
I know.
Enough of this BS and the Critical Role fandom, too. Let's move on.
Right.
Critical Role. It's funny you guys say Critical Role because you both loved the Dungeons and Dragons movie.
Yep. And we've made the comparisons to Vox Machina.
But honestly, the real bloody ship wars happened in the Mighty Nine, but I don't have energy for those, so let's move on.
Yep.
I'm not. Look, we could talk shipping all day.
Oh no! Oh no!
Big dragon!
Wyvern!
The Wyvern, whatever.
The Wyvern.
No, wait. I remember they actually had a name for him. I think it was like Joe or Jason or something.
Yeah. But we fight. You heard her.
You heard her, Titans. Go!
Oh, yeah, and this fight doesn't end. This just keeps going. I do like it. You have one subplot that's nothing but action, and then the other two are the slower bits.
That's how you do it. That's like the kind of comic books I like reading.
Oh, they see, look.
Yep.
Shooting the laser out of the mouth.
They're eating dust. What?
I know. And the fact that Flash is acting up, that was weird at first when I first saw it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And take my hand. It's like, okay, that's where I'm like, Ren, really?
Super jelly. Super
I'm just
jelly.
like, Ren, you heard Superman say the plan. You're still going to get jealous even though that's clearly what they're doing?
When Ren's like, okay, I gotta concentrate. He's always focused. When he isn't focused, it just like throws off his
Oh,
entire
jeez.
personality. Whoa.
Oh, when it reboots into both the Wyron and the Leviathan. Shit.
Go, 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 Godzilla.
Yep. Oh, and yeah, this whole bit where I do like how Bruce thinks they're the only two. Remember that? They were saying, like, what if we're the only two and there's no one left?
Oh, man.
And then
I
she's
know.
like, well, you're welcome to come to Remnant.
Probably the first Batman moment he had once he finally got himself together. Like, what if we're the only ones?
Exactly. And then it's like, you're welcome to come to Remnant. And what did you see about her statement of you feel like you belong there? Do you agree with that, or did that feel a little more
he wouldn't be out of place?
Chilling?
Well, he wouldn't be out of place. I think I could see where Weiss is coming from, but maybe it's not. Because we all know Gotham post crisis is like is a alcohol soaked post dystopia.
I think that's the other. I just realized. I think that's the other reason why people might have issue with how Batman's here. He rarely brings up Gotham. In fact, he never does. Weiss brings it up. All he talks about is about him having powers. He doesn't even say like I could use this in Gotham. None of that stuff. I think that's part of the problem with the writing is that it just doesn't focus on Bruce beyond. Look at these powers I have. Or maybe I could stay in Remnant.
I don't know if Gotham. Well, maybe because they felt Gotham wasn't really relevant to the overall story.
True. Although, how do you think Weiss would react going to Gotham? She'd probably be like, ugh.
I know. It depends on what Gotham you're talking about, because
they're going to go with the gritty one. They're going to go with
if you went with the gritty one,
the second you have something odd get on her boots. Let's be real.
Well, you'll probably compare it to Mantle, probably.
Yeah, because pre-crisis, like you look at the Adam West show, it's New York or LA in the daytime, but that doesn't mean crime still doesn't exist because you can. Oh, sorry,
Sorry. I was just saying, because I love that when she made the offer of you could come to Remnant.
No, it's got that. I know that's very cute, but what was I saying? Because even in the lighter Gotham, you still had Riddler and Joker and Catwoman and Penguin and all the Mad Hatter and these guys.
Oh no, this broke my heart.
That's when I'm like,
it was great, both hearing in Volume 9, hearing Jen Brown back. It was great, and seeing a Maya animated Pyrrha.
You said people have pointed out the girl's got muscle tones.
in animated Maya, yeah, she definitely has more of a muscle tone.
She's like I said, she's Hercules with the Xena Warrior Princess. That's what.
And I'll be honest, I don't blame Jean for falling for this.
Yeah,
he's fighting it. He's fighting it, but she's saying the right words.
Mm-hmm.
Bingo. It's like I not this. I know all about you. John, I shouldn't fall for this, but I just help.
Yep, and Jessica's trying to call him out, but he's like, she's been helping me. And then he has to say, well, if your powers aren't working, what other choice do we have? It's like, John! At least they didn't dwell on that. He just said that, and that was only done for her to be like, okay, we'll follow her lead.
Well, at that point. Well, at that point, he's right. What choice do we have at this point? We're just going around in circles.
That creep, and Jen's going more monotone, like, you cannot warn the Justice League. It's like, again, Jen's a great actress. You always forget. You don't hear her. We haven't heard her in such a long time. It's just so great to hear her.
Just listen to Carolina anytime, and you'll remind yourself she's a great voice actress. But but it's one of those moments that remind you, oh yeah, we're action-packed and can be fun, but we could also be straight-up horror.
Yep. And then here's the point where it's like, I had it. You just gave me a minute. Sometimes you don't have a minute. This was the moment.
Guys, I need time to think. I need time to think. Well, Superman, sorry if I at the point where I always know the right thing to do or things about it. Or do I?
Well, and even said, I froze. That's why they got stuck here.
Bingo.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, then Flash, more hints about what's up with Flash. Why is he keep getting hit?
Barry, why are you hiding from us?
Yep. Oh, but
I'm having so much fun now that I brought these stupid toys up. I'm sorry. I feel like Andy from Toy Story at this point.
Yep. Oh yeah, they're all getting.
Yes.
Look at that.
The wings through the glyph. That's like, and look at the way she's positioned. She looks like an angel.
She does.
It's like Soren Kyrie at the end of Kingdom Hearts 3 in the Remind.
Yep. I also love the whole. Oh, her friend believed in me. That's it. Sometimes that's all you need.
I believe. I believe.
Yep. Oh yeah. Try telling us because we're really tired. Yep. Oh, yeah. And I gotta say, Diana calling him out about wanting to leave, that made sense.
Yes.
Oh, that. Hello, Weiss. I've heard so much about you. Then just gets back to just talking to to him normally. It's like I love that. And then again, like, oh yes, you're being sweet to her, but it's like back to business. I do like it. They don't try to force a Wonder Bat moment here. It's more friend. She's being his friend, not. I
follow Susan Eisenberg on Twitter and her bad take and the moments with that they point out in the animated series. I mean, whoa. And when she says when she says the oath, my eyes.
The actress nailed it. The actress nailed it.
I was getting so hyped to that moment too.
I know. I was like, are they going to say the oath? Aren't they? And when she does, I'm just like, I believe in you, Jessica.
Exactly. And the fact that when she gets she's getting that confidence. You go, in brightest day and blackest night. No evil shall escape my sight. Let those who worship evil's might. She just gets this real, like her confidence rises every word.
John, Hal, Kyle, and Guy would be proud of her.
Yep. And yeah, they get out there. Oh, and Vixen's starting to get the hang of it. I love that moment in the trailer.
They killed. Wait, I got to say this because everybody in the RWBY fans say they killed Harambe again.
Harambe
again.
But yep, and the motorcycles.
Gagway, we're on motorcycles.
Weiss,
I'm okay.
Oh boy, and that tease
the white rose shippers.
Even though I think they're more and more cooling off. Have you noticed that they're more cooling off these days?
Cooling off.
Yep, but yeah, Batman shows up, and John. I got fine with John.
Find that moment. People are like, can we have a Huntsman reference from Jimmy in the next one, in part 2?
Yeah, there.
There it is.
I'm like, okay. Do you watch RWBY Chibi, Ingrid?
I have watched less of it than I should.
Well, you know about the Huntsman stuff, right? Where John acts very much like a Batman type character. I think this is a nod towards that. Where he's like, he's so much cooler than I saw it.
Yeah, Miles. I've watched the Rooster Teeth podcast, and so many times Miles Luna, they imitate Christopher Nolan Batman. He'll also take a plastic cup and act like Bane. We take Gotham from the corrupt. But the thing is, he said the most unintelligible movie would be Nolan Batman, Bane doing this, and just Alfred Michael Caine blubbering out, going, "That's the."
Yep.
And I love Michael Caine as an actor, but doing that, Alfred doing all that to quote the Muppets, bah.
Yep. But I also love how it was both Batman and Superman that figured it out.
Yes. If anyone's going to figure it out, it's going to be those two.
Yep. And of course, where's my ring? But yeah, the fact that it was Kilgore. Freaking Kilgore. Talk about obscure.
Kilgore it's definitely a case of literally who is that?
Yeah. I know. I mean, I only barely know about him. But yeah, him. Oh boy, he was great here once it was revealed. And it's like, he's
such a manipulative scumbag. I love it.
Yep, and just taunting them all, knocking them around. But I gotta say, the bit was when he throws the spear at Ruby. When Ruby's eyes or irises shrink, I just love that animation. Whenever that happens, like,
oh boy, that was a close one.
I know, but you could still tell, like, my life just flashed before my eyes.
Right.
Would you agree that's what that looks like?
What life? My life just flashed before my silver eyes. What life?
Oh,
I'm kidding. Yeah. I'm kidding. Yeah, I'm kidding. She knows I'm kidding. I was a big part of that.
Yep. But then the fact is, like, the whole of course Kilgore's not going to understand. Now, who do you think he's an original villain, or do you think it's Watts that's working with Kilgore? It's more likely it's Watts.
That's your theory, Watts. Yeah.
More than likely, it's Watts, because really, if they're doing something similar like they did with John and Jessica, where they're doing some moment you couldn't do. When you see about it, especially after what happened in the watch, not going to go further. I'll just simply leave that hanging. This is the case of finally actually having him deal with the RWBY characters. Because really, he's never ran into them, has he?
Not that I can recall. He
So
dealt with I know he dealt with Ironwood.
But he definitely said deal with his enemies. The only person I can think of who could do that is Watts.
It's possible.
I mean, who else would be able to be smart enough, right? I mean, what do you think, Ingrid?
I mean, I feel like it would be cheap if they just went for some random one-off filler villain. I mean, they ended up using a really obscure villain for this, which I think was a good choice as opposed to making one original out of whole cloth. So It's very likely, but it's also a non-zero chance that it's somebody else.
I know, that is true. I know, even Kilmer's like, that the savage brainiac. Ha! I did what they couldn't, trap the Justice League.
But you trapped us too. No, that's stupid, man. What kind of stupid idiot villain are you?
Ouch.
Hey, wait, I just realized we're actually seeing up her skirt.
It's the Sailor Moon thing. It's a leotard underneath the skirt.
I just realized. I'm like, wait a sec. Oh, but wait, I thought this fell under magic skirt logic.
If it's a skirt, maybe not.
True. But yeah, everyone getting in on the action. But yeah, I'll follow you into any battle. But yeah, I love it. As soon as they separated, Flash is finally kicking up a speed because Kilgore was holding him back.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Oh yeah, and they call me a Boy Scout. Yeah. She gets her ring back, and
Vixen gets the necklace back.
What? And
yes.
She makes a shield and a spear, just like Pyrrha. I love that. It almost feels like he's the Pyrrha, and it's almost like even though she's not Pyrrha, it almost felt like he was role reversaling it.
Yeah.
Ooh.
This whole subplot felt like it was a role reversal almost.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, they're all dealing with them, and yeah, basically RWBY gets the plan of every time he gets hurt, Grimm dies, he gets hurt.
Right.
So
but then Blake on motorcycle wrapping around the
Nora
Nora.
like a flail or whatever.
Yeah.
I love that. Just her swinging Nora around.
There it is. It's coming up. We're coming up.
I can't get to it.
Whatever.
Yep, there we go.
Yeah, right thereabouts.
But yeah, I love that as well. But yeah, them fighting it all off. Although, what is RWBY doing with Jessica and John? I mean, they're running around, but what is she holding? Speeding him around while he's charging her up. They don't seem to imply that.
That's a good. That's probably it, because as we've seen, she can put others when she uses her semblance and wrap them around. There's just I still like the effect where she's red, grabs Weiss. There's also that white going on.
I just read something else.
Yeah.
How did the first Y-Wing get defeated?
Silver Eyes.
And what did that cause?
Well, yep.
A big flash of white. What are we getting here? It's defeated by a big flash of green.
It's not that easy being green.
No, but am I like, oh my God, it's basically deja vu. But yeah, so yeah, they're now like, well, we can head back, give some nice farewells, and there's the bed kicking ass.
Yeah, guys, wait.
Yep, yeah, exactly. Does the butt bump?
I know. Hugs.
Yep, they're ready to go. And then, I love this. You're still a kid at heart, and remember, it doesn't matter your age to be a leader. Thanks for reminding me that. And I just love
that. He's still Superman no matter what.
Yep. Oh, I love that earlier when they're like when he's ready to confront Flash. He's like has an arm crossed. Ruby's like, that earlier when it was when Vixen saved, RWBY saved Flash, and then they're like, wait, walks up, he's like, care to talk? And I just love, again, RWBY's just like,
it's like if Yang did something like that. Is there something you want to share with us?
But this is where we find out where to take place. It's clearly before Arrowfell, since that was their first major mission. There's still them in the training, and I'm just like, I bet you Carrie is so glad they had month skips. This way they can use this for any time if they want to put stuff in between canon.
Exactly.
This was the best time with the
Exactly.
month.
It's like whenever a Marvel reader would say, "Hey, when does this take place?" The writer would come out and say it, or they would have to no prize it. And Walt Simonson said, "This saved me a lot of work on Thor." Whenever people were wondering when this story took place, even though he was with the Avengers at the time.
Right, but like I said, but here though, like I said, you have this whole multiple months window. You can fit all this stuff in.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And of course, the big cliffhanger of like, that means someone's on our side. To which I'm like, didn't Kilgore say that?
Ooh.
But I think they're more realizing it's in Atlas.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's one thing to know if someone on our side was working it, but no, they're the reason why we got stuck in there was through this.
Mm-hmm.
But it is a good cliffhanger, but at the same time, it does end it on a point where, yes, you're left with questions, but you could just end it right here.
Mm-hmm.
True.
I mean, you're wondering what's going on, but the threat's been resolved, and the whole point was just to keep them out of their hair, trapped in there. There was no other threat, no bigger threat to the great, all of Remnant or the DC universe. It was escaping.
Come on, it's not like this. So that's it? Sounds kind of cheatish. Oh, come on, it's not like the surprise. That's why they cut you off mid-set.
So yeah, that was the RWBY Justice League movie. What would you two rate this movie overall?
I give
I say an 8. Personally, I say a strong 8.
Yeah, I would say a strong 8 too. That's what I was thinking.
7.58, give or take. Because I did enjoy, because it was entertaining. It's not like something I'll probably be revisiting a lot, but it's still entertaining. But it was entertaining. It was a quick 80 minutes, and it was a lot. And it had all the action I liked out of a RWBY thing.
Mm-hmm.
I also like we also talked about the music. It sounds like the perfect mix of a DC movie score mixed in with the RWBY score.
Yeah. I'm just bummed out there was no lyrical music songs.
I would have loved for Casey.
That definitely took a point or two off.
Yeah, I would have I definitely would have loved to hear Casey Williams sing something. Because,
something was the name about the League.
Excuse me?
If she could sing a song about justice, that would have been nice if she did a song about justice.
Absolutely.
But
because say what you will about the show, the soundtracks are always awesome.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, but throughout all of this, it was clearly more of a RWBY movie guest starring the Justice League.
Yeah, definitely. That's the vibe
I would definitely like to see how they return the shoe on the other foot, as it were.
Yeah, that's the most logical
that's what I'm waiting for with part 2. I'm anticipating that.
Yeah, but of course, then that's the other thing of like, okay, it's one thing to fit it into volume 7 and, with the worlds and everything, but we're also like, again, they were just in a virtual simulated program. It's easy to fit in the continuity. Them going to the League's world, right. How do you fit that in without breaking the lore?
We are going to have to find out.
Because I'm pretty sure, I think it's safe to say this movie is canon to RWBY. I'm pretty sure it's safe to say this movie.
You could definitely say that. That, again, well, I'll accept it as such until Carrie says different, but... He is the head of the animation team still.
What about you, Ingrid? What do you think? Do you think this movie is probably more likely canon in RWBY? There's nothing that contradicts anything.
I would assume so, unless said explicitly otherwise. It's just easier that way.
Exactly, but here's hoping that this movie...
Cat's back.
Here's hoping this movie and Arrowfell and Volume 9 will get them the greenlit Volume 10. Because we already know they've already been contracted to do 2 movies. So we already know the sequel is set in stone. They wouldn't make this be a part 1 if they weren't already going to be working on part 2.
Right.
But
sorry, I'm trying to put them in order here, and it's like looking into a camera, not a mirror.
Right. But I will also say that Megan Fitzmartin's writing on this surprised me. She should stick to animation, stay away from the comics. I mean, there were flaws. There were definitely flaws.
Mm-hmm.
But she understood most of the characters. Again, it's hard to tell if the band... That's great. But it's hard to say if Batman was intentional or bad writing. It's hard to say. It is hard to say.
Yeah, it's really hard to judge because you have to consider just how much you're really juggling around with any sort of crossover like this, really.
Yeah.
It's like you only have so much brain space to be able to master the subject, and it's almost undoubtedly you're going to have a bias towards one over the other. And considering that, I'd say it was a pretty damn good job.
Exactly.
I've seen far worse.
Yeah, yep. I've seen. Yeah, there's far worse crosses out there. I mean, this isn't like the Jimmy Toomey Power Hour where it's going to be pure shenanigans. And this is going to be like this. This is okay. What do we do with the DC characters that doesn't contradict them but fits them into RWBY?
Yep. Now I'll say
that can't, because that can't be easy.
Oh, definitely not. Definitely not. But I will also say that. Well, and I will say this, I'm at least glad, even though it was so clear she had a love for Nora, it didn't dominate.
No.
Mm-hmm.
She just like, I'm going to give her some great moments. Because seriously, I don't think Nora's had as many consecutive badass moments as she has in this movie.
Not since the early volumes, I could say that.
Yep. But here's the other thing. The voices for the lead. I like them all, but Batman, I cannot see him do an adult Batman. I can't.
Yeah, well, no.
I would concede that.
Yeah, it's like it was fine for this version, but for an adult
it's
Batman,
fine for it's fine for this version. Yeah,
the
that
others
voice
were fine. The others,
I think that normal voice, kind of younger voice, would be best set to Bruce Wayne as Batman. No, you got to go down here at this point.
Unless they do,
or at least, or like how Adam changes Westwood changed personalities. Like, excuse me, Batman. Yes, Mr. Wayne. Hey, Wayne, are you ready to get into Mr. Freeze's perilous demands? Briefly. Robert, you muted yourself. Stop. Turn it back on.
Sorry about that. I think personally, if they do it, they're going to probably do the voice distorter from BVS or the Telltale Batman games, where it's completely distorted intentionally. That I could see them probably doing, but it just felt like that. All the other characters, even Jessica, I could see them doing their adult selves too. But again, the guy doing Batman, who apparently was the guy who played Light in the Death Note movie.
Oh.
The Netflix movie.
Oh, yeah, that one.
Never mind.
Yeah. I saw people say, oh, it's Light from Death Note. The Netflix version.
I know, you're like, never mind. There they go.
There they go. But again, overall, though, I just enjoyed this. Just the characterization was all good. Again, Batman being probably the one that's very contentious. I would say Batman's contentious.
It's definitely the most different, but I've described why already. So.
Oh yeah, we both have. All three of us have described it. But again, this was just a lot of fun. And unfortunately, I think people were in Warner Bros. And Ruth were banking on it to get more people involved. I think that seeing the people's reaction on social media has probably backfired. Unfortunately, because
Never read the comments. That's all I can say. Never read the comments.
Yeah, but I think with it actually out, I think now people are going to start enjoying it more. I don't see this being like a Master Universe Revelation where they're sticking to their opinions that they had beforehand.
No,
I do think this is going to...
that was a case of you got the wrong people. You got the people. It's not just it. It's not just the contention with the longtime master of the universe. There's fans. It's when the whole culture war started.
Exactly.
And you can't. And that's what. And when you criticize the show, it's hard. It's difficult to try to keep the culture war out of the equation. Which you keep it out of the equation. I try to keep it out of the equation. Anybody with this. Hopefully, anybody who doesn't get into this online garbage tries to keep it out of the equation. Stick that to politics. Keep it out of entertainment.
Yeah.
When you criticize it.
Okay. Before we wrap, so to wrap things up, I've given all my opinions. Ingrid, give your final thoughts on the movie.
Movie was a lot of fun. It felt like some classic RWBY flavor with a bit of a twist.
And would you say, since you and I read the comic, which has been better, the comic or this?
I'd say that the movie was better, honestly.
I would agree. I think it's the advantage of they're lost in this world as opposed to being created in the world.
That just made everything flow and pace a whole lot more naturally.
Yep. Now, Eric, your final thoughts on the movie.
As I said, the 80 minutes flew by. It was I thought it was very entertaining. And it may not be one of those I repeat, but it's enough. keep viewing so much, like kind of like what I'm doing with some of my music. But but I definitely say this reminded me of why I like RWBY, and I thought the Justice League stuff wasn't shoehorned in. It felt good. It felt good to
Complimented.
see. It complemented it. Yes, like you made the dessert and take analysis. I felt like you have the RWBY ice cream, and the Justice League are the sprinkles and the cherry on top.
And the
Exactly.
whipped cream. You can't
And the
forget
whipped
the whipped
cream.
cream.
And the whipped
Yes.
cream. I'm not the biggest fan of whipped cream, if I'm being honest.
Man,
But I no. It's like if I had hot chocolate, the Justice League are the marshmallows. How's that?
exactly. Well, thank you all for joining in us. Thank you two for joining me, and we'll see you all
And
on the next. Oh,
hey, don't forget thanking us.
see you four. Take care.
Later, dudes.